to the QB Huddle. I'm Tim Smith, joined by my podcast partner, once again, Brandon Noohi. We're here to talk all things quarterback, all season long. Please don't don't forget to hit that subscribe button, share, and like button, and get involved. Make sure to comment on what we're saying. We had another good weekend of football, Brandon, but you were on vacation. How was your trip?
Beautiful, man. Went to Puerto Rico, San Juan, Puerto Rico. Fantastic. Service was great. We were on a resort. We got to do a lot of different things as far as just, eat food, the typical vacation kind of things, right? We were with the in-laws. It was really good. Overall good trip, man. Good reset button.
Saw some pictures of Roman running on the beach, and you guys saw, the palm trees in the morning. Did you get any golf in while you were out there?
No golf. I've taken a break from golf because I absolutely suck right now. So I got to figure out the little things. Speaking of golf,
can't take a break.
You had your best day this week, which I called BS on, but apparently you had some buddies that covered for you, and you performed at a very high level. Talk to us about that.
This is the second time, by the way, that I've shot 80 at Grapevine.
Ooh.
Now, I'm going to say this. It's Grapevine, and Mockingbird was the first 9 that we played. If anyone's played it, Grapevine Golf Course here in Texas, Mockingbird is the easiest course out there. It's the first 9 hole we played. It's very straightforward, very few opportunities to lose a golf ball, which is really what keeps you in the game. And then the putting, man, they've really done something to the greens out there, and they were really bad for a while, but the last month or so they've come around. The greens are in perfect shape. They're fast. It's almost like playing Arizona golf, the way the greens are. They're the best greens I've played in Texas, probably outside of Cowboys Club. And we're one putting a lot of the time. I only putted 27 times. So to shoot an 80, though, it felt great. I feel like if I could hit some more greens in regulation, I could have been in the 70s. Because everything was going down the fairway and was on track. The greens I did miss was, with a small, 10-foot chip away, stuff like that, where I was chipping within 10 feet of the hole and then making those putts. So,
nice.
But yeah, Tim was there. Tim Pelham, D Fields was there, and so they can confirm it was a heck of a day. And really, all 3 of us played really good. I think Tim shot like a 76. So all 3 of us played really, really good.
Too bad none of you were there for our first AGA Masters. Shout out to Sean Reed.
We were not
got
there.
It done. No one broke over quota. No one got quota. In
but
fact,
Sean
it was
Reed
3
was
strokes.
the big winner.
Sean Reed, Sean Edwards, aka Twix, who is our social media guy, had an opportunity for birdie and missed it, which would have gotten him those 4 points to win it all. He missed it on the 17th. He missed a birdie putt.
Golly.
That went from 4 points to 2 points.
Next year, I know it was at Bear Creek. I don't know.
Bear Creek
I
East.
know I'm not sure. I think he hurt his finger that weekend, and so he had his fingers all taped up with bandages.
Oh, man.
I don't know why Tim didn't play. I was coming off the shoulder thing, but we'll look for it next year.
Yeah.
But let's not talk about golf anymore. The folks didn't tune in to listen to us talk about our golf fantasies. Let's talk about college football, because we had a big weekend, and the top of it for me was Bama goes down again.
Oh, you like that, don't you?
I love it. It was kind of confusing to me watching the game how they lost to Vanderbilt and they were still in the top 10. At least now they've been taken out of the top 10, which I know was very hard for the NCAA to do. I know that had to hurt everyone involved with that, but Bama is out of the top 10. And I texted this to you, and I'm going to stay with it. Milroe has a lot of physical traits, a lot of physical abilities that most don't have, but he's not a very good quarterback. And I don't think he's going to be any better than Jalen Hurts in the NFL unless he makes some major changes. He was wildly inaccurate when pressured, and it just didn't look good. And to go more on that, I mean, there's other quarterbacks that didn't look good this week, right? So guys that we expect to be drafted high that did not look good this week, and then there's one that looked outstanding in Cam Ward. So why don't you talk a little bit about what you saw in that Bama game as Bama goes down to Tennessee?
Well, as you guys know, I was on vacation, so I got to see a little bit of this game. But one thing that did stand out was the 45 pass attempts by Milroe. Now, granted, it is a tight game. It's a hostile environment. This is the second time in probably 4 years, I believe, that Tennessee pulls an upset versus Bama. In fact, the state of Tennessee right now is undefeated versus Bama this year. Those two losses come in Tennessee. Vanderbilt and Tennessee. What also didn't, this is back-to-back games with multiple picks. He's got to clean that up. I mean, right now, that was his worst, completion game. Other than that, he's completing a high level over 70% of his passes, Tim. So as far as to make that outlandish statement to say, I don't know if he's going to succeed in the NFL versus 2 games, I mean, I think that's a little much. Jalen's shown a lot of improvement, in the pocket. But, this comes down also to the run game and, just important stops. There was a opportunity for a Brady moment, and he missed it through a dig and missed him inside instead of throwing it on his numbers or a little bit out in front, and that's the game. You had a robber safety look, he creeped down, but if you throw it behind him on an inside breaking route, bad things happen, quarterback. So that's something he's got to clean up. But, I think moving forward, Bama's got to figure out. They got to figure it out to stay in the fight. This is a long season, as I've told everyone. This is a very long season, and we're not used to seeing this in college football. They go take on a team now, Missouri, then they wind up going to LSU in Death Valley at night.
That's going to be a tough one.
That's going to be tough, okay? I think that's an 8 p.m. Eastern game. And then they play Mercer, and then they play a depleted Oklahoma right now, and injured Oklahoma and Auburn. So, there's only a couple of losses that could happen, but I think they need to run it out and able to, at least a chance to be the 12th seed or 10th seed to move forward. So that's just a little bit of my thoughts, man. I mean, Tennessee's a okay team. Can you
believe that we're going to have a 12-team playoff and may not have an Alabama team in that playoff?
I love it, man. I think it's really I think it makes it very competitive, but also college football seems a little bit watered down too, just because of NIL. So it's not the dominant teams that you're used to seeing, those big blue bloods that come out. Now, I mean, you got teams like Army and Navy that are undefeated.
There's a lot of parity.
So that's going to be cool, especially with their rivalry game at the end of the year. Yeah. All eyes are going to be on that game if they go undefeated. So that should be fun. You also got a 6-0 Indiana team, that had 80-plus transfers.
How about Illinois?
Came in.
Illinois just routed Michigan.
Well, Michigan's a little off right now, but in their defense, that team is rolling. That team is absolutely rolling.
College football is a little crazy.
It's a little different, man.
Speaking of teams that are rolling, Georgia loses to Alabama earlier in the season, but they come in and roll Texas in Texas. Quinn Ewers looked shook in the first half to me. When they made the change, I didn't think they would ever go back from Manning. I kind of wish they wouldn't have. But also Carson Beck didn't look good. They routed them, but it wasn't because of anything Carson Beck did. He was 23 of 42, 175, 3 interceptions. He did not throw a touchdown pass. What is going on with Carson Beck and Quinn Ewers, who are supposed to be top 10 NFL picks coming in the next season?
Pressure bust pipes, my friend. With their inability to move around in the pocket the way they need to, I'm telling you guys, this pocket quarterback phase is dying out, man. I mean, if you don't have legs to at least get 2 to 3 yards and maybe even 7, you're doomed. And their inability to get in and out of the pocket versus that pass rush really put a lot of pressure on them to make ill-advised throws and reads. I think Quinn looked shook. He didn't look comfortable the entire time. I personally felt they rushed him back from that oblique.
Because he didn't look great against Oklahoma.
Well, the pressure of Arch Manning is there. Yeah, it's there. It's there now. It's clear. My father-in-law, he's a Texas Longhorn alum. We were watching the game together, and he was like, "Why doesn't this guy just move his feet and get in and out of the pocket?" I was like, "He can't. It doesn't look like he can." And then when Arch came in, he looked a little, jitterbug too, but he got in and out. It looked like the game was a little too fast for him.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. Teams going up against NFL style defenses on the other side with NFL caliber D linemen coming up and pass rushing you, and neither quarterback, to me, looked like they could handle it at the next level. Scouts, be wary. Watch those games. I was high on both guys, and I'll tell you, my expectations for both have dropped considerably, and I stick with what I said in our text group this weekend, and outside of maybe Cam Ward, Arch Manning might be the best quarterback in the nation, and he's just on the bench. So it's, they won't make the change because Quinn Ewers came back and to play. But at some point, if he continues to look like this, regardless of why he came back, I think you have to look at making the change because Texas has a legitimate shot to win the national championship this year, but not if your quarterback is going to poop his pants when they play big-time teams. And sorry, Quinn, but that's what it looked like.
In defense of Quinn, he did go in and rout Bama last year at Bama. He's played very well versus them. But I think Texas, really what hurt is they really haven't played anybody, man. They just haven't. I mean, besides the depleted OU, they haven't really played anybody, and they run into a team. Michigan isn't as dominant as they once were. Mississippi State, one of the worst SEC teams in the league. UL Monroe, you go to Oklahoma, which is probably one of the worst teams in the SEC at this moment. Yeah, but now you go play a hungry Vanderbilt at Vanderbilt. Don't be surprised if they kick the doors in too. They're playing off a lot of passion right now. And then you go to Florida, Florida comes to you, but Florida's had the toughest schedule in college football, and they're starting to figure it out. Then you go to Arkansas, which is a tough game in general. Kentucky is another one, and then you battle out with the rivalry of A&M. So if you look at the rest of their schedule,
it's tough for Texas.
These games are going to be extremely tough, right? Yeah. And do you go to Arch Manning? What if Quinn doesn't look the same? Do you go back? I believe when you pull a quarterback out and you put another guy in to replace him, I don't think you go back.
Yeah, I was surprised.
And I don't know what the psychology about that was. I don't think you go back.
Give him a break. Let him look at it from a different view, maybe.
I guess.
I don't know. I like the change. I didn't like that they went back. What I didn't like was the timing of the change, honestly. I felt like if you're going to make that change, let him at least play out the half. And if you can't get anything going, then make the change at halftime. I certainly don't like making that change in the middle of the second quarter and then making it again at halftime. I did not like that.
Well, they did say that they were going to see a little bit of Arch. They did say that.
So that might have been the plan going in.
That might have been the plan going in. Maybe it was a spark.
Look good because Quinn Ewers. But then, to be fair, Arch wasn't able to get anything going either. He had a couple of plays with his legs, but that offense, and you've mentioned it, is so gimmicky that if you can play your keys defensively and you have top athletes, you can shut it down because oftentimes you're giving the quarterback one read, two reads, whatever it is, but it's a play designed to go into a certain area. And if the defense takes it away, what are you going to do? And I saw a lot of that where the play had been taken away for both guys.
Their lack of run game and ball control really killed them. Getting out of third downs, I think that really killed them. But also you see the best quarterback who's looked the part in this system of Sarkisian has been Tua. I mean, he was as sharp as it gets. And in that type of specific offense, you've got to get through your reads quickly. Okay. Yeah. It's a lot of pre-snap at the line of scrimmage. Also, a little bit of motioning that could create opportunities for you to get that read out. But right now, man, I mean, both quarterbacks looked subpar at best. Right. And you got to think going into this, even with Texas now at 5, you're going to see these guys again.
Absolutely.
You're going to. And if you can, make a little run, I told my pops on Saturday, I'd rather you lose now than lose late.
True.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
The thing out because
it doesn't hurt you as bad anymore.
Right. I mean, 15 points. Yeah, you get routed. Does it look bad? It does. However, man, when you're 2 for 15 on third down, bad things happen, right? Right.
How about this surprise? And I don't know if you've been paying attention to this, but SMU jumped into the ACC this year.
Oh yeah.
They beat Stanford 40-10. SMU beat Stanford 40-10. Kevin Jennings is their quarterback. 17 for 27, 322, 3 touchdowns. So wanted to bring that up, folks, because they're local. We're here in Dallas. and we're always going to root for a local team, but SMU is making noise in the ACC right now, and big win this weekend over Stanford. And then your guy, Cam Ward of Miami. Miami survived unranked Louisville. That was a heck of a game if you didn't
In
get to
Louisville.
watch it. Crazy game, but you wouldn't think that unranked team would be able to hang with Miami the way they did, but they did. But Cam Ward, 21 of 32, 319, 4 touchdowns in the game. Did you get to see any of that? That was a huge game, and I know what a big Cam Ward fan you are.
I did, man, but I love to see the U back, man. I love to see Miami back. They're sitting at 7-0 right now. Things are looking really good. They're averaging like over 40 points a game. Their defense is dog water, but the fact that they can score and they can overcome, especially on the road. I mean, that's 2 back-to-back comeback wins on the road, which is really good. It's 3 back-to-back tough games. Virginia Tech, last play.
They keep surviving, yeah.
Miami, overtime. California and Cal,
Yeah,
overtime, right? Yep. Louisville, tough matchup, right? These guys are finding ways to win, and those are how championship teams are built. Now, defensively, can they survive? I don't know. I don't see it. I don't see it. I think them going to Florida State, that should be a blowout. But again, that's a rivalry game. Wide right, wide left games, right? Could come down to a field goal. You just never know what to expect from Miami. But the fact that they're able to squeeze out these close games, Cam Ward playing on fire every single game.
Every week he needs to. If he doesn't, they'll lose.
And it just shows me, I think he can handle the pressure at the next level. The kid's focused. He's a Texas kid. Him and Shador are real tight. But if you saw, a clip of him and Shador training together, he said, hey, man, you're not taking it too serious. You're worried about social media and yada, yada. It's a good clip. Maybe Brandon can pull it up one time, but it just shows you the demeanor of Cam Ward and just where he's trying to head. I think this is a great move. I think this is a positive story, another positive story of the NIL transferring over from Washington State. He was at a D1 AA school, transferred to Washington State, did pretty well in the Pac-10, then he transferred over, and he's researching this Miami team, which is really fun to see. Because college football is so much better when teams like Michigan, USC, Miami. Unfortunately, my team is not. I don't even want Michigan no more, right? But seeing Cam Ward thrive after I've been crucified for saying he's the best quarterback in the country, he is thriving, man, and he shows that he could be a valuable asset to an NFL team one day. I would like to see him speed up a little bit. He looks very slow and methodical through things. Things are going to speed up, bro, when you go to the NFL. But right now he's doing a great job. So
he is doing a great job. He certainly gets away with a few things in Miami, but with that defense being as poor as they are, we talk about Travis Hunter for the Heisman because he's playing both ways. We talk about Gentry for the Heisman because of what he's doing with his legs on the ground. I feel like Cam Ward has to be in that discussion with the three of them because he is literally carrying Miami to every single win. You cannot point to anybody else on that football team that is making the difference that Cam Ward is. And so I feel like he too, for the way he is carrying Miami week in and week out, should be in that, that top 3 discussion for the Heisman. So we're going to do something special this week, folks. The Cowboys didn't play this weekend.
Hold on, bro.
We didn't get to lose.
I hate to cut you off, but I know you're not just going to look back and not see Colorado routes Arizona during their homecoming, which moves them to 5-2, their best record since 2018. Give it up for Coach Prime and the preparation.
I didn't realize what had happened.
Before we get on, now, this was a game I was tuning into.
Talk about him. Okay.
Yeah, this was a game I'm tuning into. Travis Hunter gets hurt. They still put up a 30-piece. They look good, Tim. They look good, man, which finally moves them into the rankings of the top 25. That hasn't been done since 2017, 2018.
So here they come.
So,
the words of Deion Sanders.
Do they have an opportunity to get into the college football playoffs?
Well, they got to move up like 12 more spots, and then sure.
He said, and then sure. What if they win the Big 12?
What's the schedule like? I think if you win the Big 12, but the problem is now it's not just conference winners we're looking at, right? We're looking at who's ranked in that 1 through 12, I suppose, is how they're going to pick the team. Is it 12 teams or 16 teams going into college?
Right now, what I see, which is A little bit odd. I don't think they're ranked, sadly.
See, and so you lied.
I'm sorry. I lied, ladies and gentlemen. I absolutely lied. Sorry. I mean, right now they're sitting at 5-2. It's looking good. They play Cincinnati, who's another 5-2 team this week. That should be a very good competitive game in the Big 12, not the SEC. But there is an opportunity, Tim. There is an opportunity to the college football
I don't see
playoffs.
it. I don't think
Look,
the Big 12 isn't very good. How many
but if
losses
they win
do they have? How many losses do they have already?
they have 2. And it was
Okay.
out of conference. They're undefeated. Well, they've lost 1 to Kansas State, who is
The bigger
18.
question
They
is,
lost by 3.
forget whether or not they can get into the playoffs. Be real with the line of scrimmage, both their offensive line and their defensive line. If they were to get into the playoffs and get matched up against a team like a Georgia or an Alabama or a Tennessee or Florida, how do they win that game? How do they even compete?
I don't know about Florida. I think. Well, here's the thing. Here's what I
just
like
threw
about
Florida
them.
in there, but
Here's
Miami,
what I like about them. They're averaging over 30 plus a game, Tim.
I get it, but the
They
Big
can
12
score.
is not a very good conference. They're not
Correct.
playing good football
But
teams.
could they get to the Big 12 championship? I think they could. They got
Okay.
Cincinnati, Texas Tech, who's 5-2 low key. They got a beat up Utah. They got a beat up Kansas. They got a horrible Oklahoma State coming. And I hate to say
Can we
that,
talk
but
about how
folks.
bad Cam Rising looked the other day?
You know, he got granted an 8th year.
Yeah. Well, he needs to because nobody in the NFL wants to take him after that performance. He looked terrible. So let him stay in college forever.
Well, let's get on to this NFL, man, because
Let's
we
do it.
started the show with college, man. We appreciate y'all
We did.
tuning in. We're 20
We
minutes
did.
in. Let's get it rolling.
That's a long time. So now we've got to pick up the pace, and hey, we're gonna do something special, guys. If I had some slow, soft music, I would put it on right now. I want you to sit back and relax because we're gonna take you to Noohi's Corner, where he's gonna talk about and maybe vent just a little bit his 49er woes after another big loss on the field and on the injury report. Take it away, Brandon.
A moment of silence for all my fallen 49er players. Boy, we look sorry, don't we? Loss to the Chiefs again puts us at 5 straight losses to Mr. Andy Cheeseburger Reed. Arguably the greatest offensive football coach in the history of the game. Can literally have a 5-star game with a broom. Hey, it doesn't matter who he has. He's going to make it work. I've never seen a coach that could adjust so well and simplify the game with pretty much no star players on their team. Outside of Christmas Jones, Pat Mahomes, Travis Kelce, we get that. But both quarterbacks underperformed. It didn't look good. 5 turnovers within the both of them. Purdy had 3 turnovers. Damn it, Brock. All right, this is hard because I'm gonna have to put my coach's hat on here and not my fanboy hat. Brock Purdy, wake up. Wake up, man. Do what got you here. In the last 12 games, he has 14 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. Brother, that will not get it done in San Francisco. At all. Right? That's not good. We got to clean it up. Stop turning the damn ball over. Throw the ball away. Stop trying to play hero Brock. We love you as you are. Right? We love you because of the things you were doing. You were navigating the offense at a high level. Right? If it wasn't there, you weren't making mistakes. Okay? Granted, everybody's on your train, and I'm not off the Brock Purdy train. Let's say that. I think he had some really good throws versus man. I rewatched the game, but you had some knucklehead throws, right? Where you don't do that. You can't throw an interception in the red zone versus double coverage. And your play caller Kyle Shanahan does not help you. This stat line is absurd. Kyle is 0-40 in his career when trailing by 8 points or more.
0-40.
0-40.
Wow.
He's got to go. I'm tired of seeing it. I've said this about Kyle Bananahan. Dude, you have no plays outside of a 14-play script and outside of Christian McCaffrey. You act like we don't have athletes across the board. Why not still utilize Jordan Mason and Garendo in some of those motions? Why not bring Debo in? Oh, wait, I forgot Debo is in the hospital with pneumonia.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe you could throw it to Brandon Ayuk. Wait, he just tore his ACL and MCL, out for the season. Oh, maybe you can go to Kittle and throw him a little tight end pop, make him work. Oh, wait, he's got a foot injury. So, Brock is depleted. He's depleted.
You could always
Jennings is out with a hip.
McCaffrey. Oh, no, you can't do that.
No, we ain't got him either. We may not have him for the whole damn year. This is the toilet bowl coming up, right? Now your star power is out. You must rely on rookie receivers like Jacob Counting and Ricky Pearsall. Kyle hates rookie receivers. But hey, young guns, let's roll, man. Let's roll. Let's get on the same page. We can do this. We've been at this position before in 2021, similar when Brock Purdy came in in the 9th game. All we got to do is put together a good stretch of wins, win out the division, get in the dance, and figure it out. Are we going to win a Super Bowl? Probably not. We can't beat the Chiefs. We just can't. Andy's got our number. Andy's our daddy now. He's our Papa Bear. You know? And I hate to admit it, but it is what it is. And so we have $75 million, Tim, on the bench that are injured. What are we going to do? Hey, you guys might have a shot. I think you're probably going to beat us. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it yet, guys. We don't look the same. We don't look the same at all. I think the locker room is lost for Kyle. I think everybody's tired of Kyle's bullshit. Sorry for cussing on the podcast, but I'm tired of it. Fans are tired of it. We need Ben Johnson or Coach Bill Belichick to come in and kick the doors down and get this team to where they need to be.
Okay.
Whew. That's my rant.
Ladies and gentlemen, Noohi's Corner. Now we're going to get out of Noohi's Corner, and we're going to preview the game that's coming up, which you affectionately called the Toilet Bowl.
Toilet Bowl. Toilet Bowl,
Cowboys
baby.
play the 49ers. Is that the Sunday night game? That is.
It is Sunday night game. You want to come over, man? You want to come over and enjoy it?
They need to flex that game out of Sunday night game.
No.
They need to make that like the noon game because nobody cares.
That's the two best teams with the best fans in the world.
Listen, this
best
game
and
is
worst
going to be
fans.
absolutely terrible, and I have no analytical reason why this will happen, except that this is what I want to happen. The Cowboys are going to come into 49er land and beat y'all ass. That's what's about to happen. And when that happens, then you might get your wish. Shanahan might get fired. Because that was Because I'm going to tell you what, Cowboys aren't in much better shape than the 49ers right now. We have no offensive line. We have no running back. We have no D-line. We have no linebackers. Our secondary is awful. And our quarterback is the highest paid player in all of the land. So,
well,
we have one receiver to throw to that I feel really good about. And that's
he's
CeeDee
a really
Lamb.
good player.
But yeah, this is not the game. I don't think anyone else in the country is going to watch this game outside of Cowboys and 49ers fans. Cowboys are winning the game. Cowboys will win the game 24-14. And the 14 are going to come late in the fourth quarter. That's what I have to say.
A blowout. You mean the 42-10 that we blew y'all out last year?
24-14. You'll score 14
49ers right now lead the series in the history of the Cowboys versus 49ers. We have one game up on you guys. We have won the past three matchups, 2 in the playoffs, a blowout last year. Both teams are hampered by injuries, okay? This is just going to be a good old dog fight. This is going to be a good old dog fight. That's how I look at it. Both teams are desperate for wins. Both teams are coming off of losses, right?
The Cowboys coming off a bye, though.
Yeah, we need a bye after this.
That should give us the advantage.
We need a whole damn reset. We need a whole reset. Right now, is Debo available? No, he's not. I heard Michael Parsons is coming back, which that scares me. We got a hampered Trent Williams. Our offensive line doesn't look very well. Jordan Mason is still solid, but we're going to have to depend on rookie receivers. So we're going to see just how good Brock Purdy is.
You going to wear a Cowboy jersey on the podcast next week when the Cowboys win this game?
I'm wearing my TO jersey. You remember this jersey?
I said next week.
Where he's in the middle of Dallas in the star.
Oh boy! All right, that's
why I rock this jersey. We're still y'all's daddy. At the end of the day, we're still big brother and y'all are little brother.
So let's make the bet. Loser wears the other team's jersey on the podcast next week.
Oh.
Loser wears the jersey of the other team on the podcast next week. I've got one for you. Ready to go. I mean, this is out there now. Are you gonna take it? Or
I don't like this, man. Of course I'm going with it, man.
All right, there we go.
Niners, damn it.
There we go.
Come on, Brock. Come on, defense.
I'm going to send you a Dak Prescott jersey on Monday, so you'll have it for Tuesday.
Hey, man, that's a fly one, by the way. It reminds me of the Little Giants. Your jersey.
This one here? Oh, yeah, this is my CD Lamb. This is my CD Lamb jersey. I love this jersey.
Reminds me of the Little Giants jerseys.
He's my favorite player. So let's get into rookie watch, man, because, hey, there was some good and some not so good. And I hate to say this. We never want to see this happen, but we talked about this. We said it would happen. Jaden Daniels gets hurt. Something with his rib. They say it's not a break. He's week to week. But he's still reckless when he's running around, man, and now he's paid the price for it. And early in the game last week was not available. Marcus Mariota had to come in and save the day. What are your thoughts on Jaden getting hurt early?
I've said this in the beginning of the season. Slide, bro. Get out, protect yourself. Your frame is small.
Yeah. He's slight.
Like, you're not running over. This isn't college anymore, man. You got to protect the asset. Protect the CEO, man. Get your ass down. Slide. Throw the ball away, right? But kudos to Marcus Mariota for understanding the offense coming in. He's one of the OGs of the RPO and that zone read scheme that they do well. It's good to see Marcus have a good game. He's on fire. He did really well. Jaden, just focus in on protecting your body, man. Get healthy. You've done phenomenal in the first quarter of the season, heading into the second quarter, so continue that so you can get back on the field with your guys.
He's been playing great. Hated to see that. Luckily, it doesn't seem like it's anything serious. And maybe
just little ribs.
Teach him a lesson. Caleb Williams had a bye. He's still flying high over his 4 TD performance in London. Bo Nix, 16 for 26, 164. Another game with no touchdowns, but no interceptions, and the Broncos able to come away with a win. Your impressions on Bo Nix this weekend?
Bo looked sharp. Bo looked in command, despite not having any touchdowns in that specific area. He had over 70-plus rushing yards, too. So
yeah, he was running
his legs, he utilized his legs very well. One thing that stands out for me is it's not the stat line. It's no turnovers. Yeah. Anytime you're a rookie, you're going in a hostile environment, especially in New Orleans with that defense being historically good for quite some time. He didn't turn the ball over. That's how you do things. And I think he's gaining more confidence in Sean Payton, or Sean Payton's gaining more confidence in him. And they could be a surprise team in the West. We'll see.
My impressions on Bo Nix is I get a lot of Tim Tebow vibes when I watch him play. And some of that is good from a competitive standpoint. He is very, very competitive. He will run you over. He'll run around you. He's pretty accurate with the ball when he does throw it. But I don't know. I don't know how sustainable Bo Nix is, or if he's going to get better. But yeah, he reminds me of Tim Tebow a lot. So we'll see how that goes. Here's one guy I'm not impressed with at all. And to me, my impressions is that he doesn't look like he belongs in the NFL, at least not yet. And that's Spencer Rattler, 25 for 35, 172. Comparison to Bo Nix in the stat line, no touchdowns, no picks. But if you watch the game, his completions didn't look like Bo Nix completions, right? He looks very rattled. He looks very erratic. He doesn't look comfortable. And I don't know, Spencer Rattler just doesn't come off as an NFL QB to me. Where are you at watching him play?
I say give it time. I say he's learning on the fly right now. He probably didn't even expect to start this year. I think it's more just trying to adjust to his style and what he can do. And one thing about Spencer Rattler, if you know, in his career, he was a gunslinger. And so I think, he's got to what he's showing right now is he's able to check the ball down, take what they give. He didn't turn the ball over. But I think from this perspective with any rookie, man, I mean, taking 6 sacks, you got to get rid of the ball, right? Don't worry about your stat line. I mean, you're only averaging under 5 yards a play here. But, you know, to his defense, you literally have everybody and their mom out at receiver.
Yeah, everyone's hurt.
You know what I mean? So can you really put that on him? I don't think so. But I do think that not having Kamara, that did hurt a little bit. Kamara was out for some reason. I heard, you know, trades are coming. But I'm not sure. But, you know, I think, again, for me as a rookie, if you're a rookie and you come out with no turnovers, hell, hey, clean game.
It just looks erratic to me. He doesn't look comfortable.
He's 25 of 35, Tim. I mean, that's not.
I get it. Most of his throws, most of his completions were going to be throws that were probably under 4 to 5 yard throws.
Yeah, 71% completion. It's not bad, but you're not turning the ball over, which that helps. Okay. So let's look at it from a positive perspective. You have all 3 of your receivers out.
Yeah. Well, so does Mahomes.
You don't get all the reps, right? So, I mean, but we're comparing Mahomes to Rattler, an 8-year NFL vet compared to a rookie.
Get it. I'm being tougher on Rattler than you are.
I don't know why. I mean,
I wasn't
a rookie,
impressed.
bro.
I get it. I think there's rookies in the class much better than him. I don't know that he doesn't come off to me as a franchise guy. I don't know. It's just something about him doesn't come off to me as a franchise guy. But this guy does, and I didn't think he would. I wasn't bought in, but now watching him play, watching how calm he is, how cerebral he looks, Drake May, he looks like, man, they let him sit for a couple weeks, and now he's come out 26 of 37, 276, 2 touchdowns, best performance of the weekend by a rookie. Even though they lost to Jacksonville, let's be honest, the Patriots not a good football team. They're just not, from top to bottom. Not a good team, but Drake May looked the part.
Yeah, again, another rookie that, what do I say about him? If you can get out clean.
No turnovers.
Yeah. Right? That's what I need from our quarterback. I don't need a bunch of turnovers, man. I don't need you to start the fire and then try to let it out easy because most rookies can't. Right? So I think overcoming that 37 times is a little bit much for me, but considering they were behind, you know, they were up 10, you know, going into the second quarter, but Jacksonville runned off with 22 points in the second quarter. Then they kind of died out. So they just got to figure out a little bit just how to keep him healthy. I think not running the ball doesn't help him, so it forces him to throw, dropping 8. But not turning the ball over, man. I mean, kudos to him only taking 2 sacks. He's only going to get better from here. I think that's a clean start. Clean start. We losing. Oh, well, hell, we're going to build around you, kid. Because why? Because you stood in the fire, delivered the mail. You didn't turn over. So, granted, it is a depleted Jacksonville team, but, you know, at the end of the day, man, no turnovers is no turnovers.
No turnovers. And don't forget, Jacksonville stayed, across the pond for a week. So they didn't have
That's
to travel.
their other home. That's where they should move.
Exactly. So, right? The London Jaguars. So they got to stay and spend the week there. They didn't have to travel and all that nonsense that the Patriots had to go through. But again, Patriots aren't a very good football team. So I thought Drake May did a good job. On fire. I love this segment. You got guys that were just cooking this weekend, that were lighting up the football field. First amongst them, Josh Allen. 21 of 33, 323, 2 touchdowns. The only starting quarterback in the NFL, and I said this a week ago, that hasn't thrown an interception. Okay? 34 to 10 in a win over Tennessee. Tennessee's garbage. We understand that. But Josh Allen, and he barely ran the ball. I think he had like 3 carries. Love to see that. What were your impressions? Josh Allen, are you with me on that? On fire? He wasn't the best quarterback of the weekend. We're going to get to the best quarterback of the weekend who played last night.
I am very biased on this on fire segment. And the reason I say this is because we're giving a lot of mediocre play to the on fire this year. And there was only one guy that stood out like a sore thumb for on fire.
Okay.
You know who that is. But Josh Allen's performance again, hey, great. Got the W over a trash Tennessee team. Right, not looking good. Took care of the ball once again. The only quarterback with no turnovers, as you attested to. Josh Allen getting Amari Cooper involved pretty early for his first touchdown after the trade acquisition. I think that's going to be huge, especially for the other receiver that he has, Keenan Coleman, to really just complement him and teach him how to understand. Because what people fail to realize, Amari Cooper is one of the best route runners that we've ever seen from a receiver.
He's a technician.
I mean, he's a top 20 technician of all time, in my opinion. I don't find too many that run better routes than him and get separation. So clearly that connection should definitely spark or at least, ignite a fire in this team to where they can run off. But kudos to Josh Allen for really honing in his skills and not turning the ball over. Another clean game, but is it on fire? I don't think so.
I think it is. Based on the quarterback play this year, I'm with you, right?
It's only good this year.
Exactly. So we have to go with the plan of
what the old episodes, man. There were so many other on fire segments.
How about this?
Is just
who do you think has the highest completion percentage this year in
Jared
the NFL?
Goff.
You know that it isn't Jared Goff though?
It's Jaden Daniels.
There's one guy that's higher than Jared Goff, and it's Jaden Daniels at 75.6. Jared Goff
is playing,
boy. 22 of 25. Just a couple weeks ago, he was 18 of 18. This week, he's 22 of 25, 282 touchdowns, no turnovers.
It's a good sweet spot.
By the way, Baker is right there with the two of them at 70.5.
Sure.
That's about to change because his whole receiver core is depleted.
Oh, man.
We'll have to talk about that. But that's why I have to put Jared Goff in there because of his efficiency. The fact that when he's in there, not only does he not throw interceptions, he just doesn't throw incompletions anymore. It's kind of taboo for him to throw an incompletion. I put Marcus Mariota in there because he comes off the bench, 18 of 23, 205,
Beautiful.
2 touchdowns, no turnovers. That's respect, right, coming off the bench. Russell Wilson, got to put him in there because I know that I dogged Mike Tomlin for making this change, but 16 for 29, 264,
Russ
2 touchdowns, looking good.
3 touchdowns, actually. Rush one.
Well, he rushed for one. But the performance of the weekend from the quarterback spot, certainly Lamar Jackson, 17 for 22, 281, 5 touchdowns. He averaged 16 yards per pass play. He didn't have to run that much. I'm gonna say something that you're probably not gonna agree with, and you're gonna and you QB huddlers might go, well, how is the running back getting the credit? Derrick Henry has changed the way Lamar Jackson plays quarterback. Period. Look at the last 3 weeks. Lamar has thrown for over 300 yards, 280. He's thrown like 9 touchdowns in 3 weeks because teams are now loading up to stop Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. And Derrick is getting so much attention, the pass game. And then you look at some of the RPOs they were doing last night. There were some where he could hand off to Derrick, he could run, or he could throw to 2 or 3 different people at the same time. So the creativity of the offense that they've created now with Derrick Henry in the room is next level. I don't see how anybody stops the Baltimore Ravens offense.
Not at all.
Because when Lamar Jackson now has become a guy that can be a pure pocket thrower, doesn't have to throw. They talked about it last night. He's never played like this before. This 3-game run. So, again, they talked about it last night on the broadcast. He's become a pocket passer, elite pocket passer, not just a pocket passer. He's become an elite pocket passer, and he is his completion percentage, his throws downfield, and this has changed even from the time that they were in Dallas. Because that game in Dallas, he threw, I think, 22 passes. He didn't throw a ball over 10 yards the whole afternoon, and he was running quarterback sweeps and all kind of stuff. The offense has changed over the last couple of weeks. And now it's Derrick Henry and it's Lamar Jackson in the pocket and throwing the ball all over the field. He's got weapons everywhere. The offense looks impossible to stop. It's like a video game. It's almost as good as what the Chiefs were doing when they were fully loaded.
Tim, this is what he's been doing since.
I mean, why would they talk about it on national TV?
Because you're having national narratives. Right, the narrative is he can't play from the pocket. He's actually one of the best in the pocket and against the blitz.
But
he's been like that for years.
He has never just sat there. He tried against Kansas City and it didn't work.
How many 5 TD games has he had in his NFL career?
Well, you would know because you're a super fan. I don't.
He's had 5. How many perfect passer ratings has he had?
Super fan.
He's had 5. So it's like this
How
is
many years has he played?
7.
Okay, so it's maybe 1 a year on average.
But I'm just saying this is act like.
He's never done
find it
like
hilarious because how people follow these narratives like, oh my God, he's finally playing from the pocket a lot better. Things are looking great. Derrick Henry, dude, he's been doing this forever. Okay.
Most of his stuff has come off his legs and gadget plays, and now it's coming off. Derrick Henry, adding Derrick Henry has made Lamar Jackson look like Dan Marino.
I agree. Now, that's something I will agree. The emergence of Derrick Henry. But have you noticed, Derrick Henry, they're really honing him back, right? He got 16 touches
170 yards last night.
He had 16 carries.
Okay, the week before he had 24 carries.
But I'm saying they're both complement each other in a way because Lamar takes away people when they do the zone meshes.
Well,
like you saw it on film.
I like that Lamar is now running only maybe 2 to 3 quarterback run plays a game. He's not running that 10 to 15 run plays.
Well, he rushed for 9 this week.
Well,
he carried
I'm saying
11
all
the following
quarterback
week.
runs, and then he scrambles when he needs to.
Yeah.
Right? When he needs to. And he's not going to his legs as quickly as he once was. He's now throwing or running to throw, which he wasn't doing as much of that early in his career.
Right.
He has progressed as a quarterback, and I'm giving him credit for that. You don't want to hear it. You're saying he's been this guy, but Derrick Henry has changed that Ravens offense completely.
I feel it definitely helps. I feel it helps. I do feel it helps, but I feel like Lamar has been efficient for a very long time. Is this one of the best versions that we have seen? To be continued, because I've seen him do this, right? I've seen these type of games that he's had.
Yeah, but this is 3 in a row where he looks unstoppable.
Yeah, he looks insane, right? So the last 3 games,
and it's not with his legs, folks.
He
it's
has
from the
10
pocket.
touchdowns and 1 interception, which is absolutely amazing. And his passer rating right now is well beyond 100. I think it's 118, and the next one to him is like 110 with Joe Burrow. So. Yeah. I will say right now, Lamar Jackson is the best quarterback and best player in the National Football League right now, and it's not close.
Well, I hate when you say that.
It's not close.
It's close.
It's not close.
It is close. There's one other guy in the league that can do everything that Lamar Jackson can do. He just doesn't have Derrick Henry on his team.
Okay.
And we know who that guy is. I don't even have to say it.
I love Jaden Daniels, but
that's not who it is. That's
who
not
is
who it is. It's Josh Allen. Josh Allen can do everything Lamar Jackson can do, but he doesn't have a Derrick Henry to back him up. He doesn't have that Baltimore defense to back him up. So don't say it's not close. It is close. There's a guy that can do everything he can do.
It is not close.
Okay. All right.
It's not close.
Put Josh Allen on the Ravens, and we're seeing the same thing.
It's
the same thing. We're seeing 300-yard games.
Let's continue.
We're seeing Derrick Henry run for 200 yards a game. Put Josh Allen on the Ravens, we get the same thing. They're essentially the same player.
So now it's Derrick Henry. So now it's really because of Derrick Henry, like why everybody's opening their eyes.
Listen, like any good running back, as you know, because when you played for the Thunder and we won a national championship, you had 3 stud running backs running the ball. It helps. It helps open everything up. Derrick Henry helps that offense because now they're not just honed in on Lamar Jackson, whether it's him running or him throwing. They have to worry about Derrick Henry now. And now you got to worry about Zay Flowers. And then you got to worry about the tight end. There's so much to worry about.
Well, you know what's funny?
The Ravens.
You know what's funny to me? He's already got 2 MVPs without Derrick Henry, so I think he was okay.
MVPs, but sure. And most popular player. That's what the MVP.
Hey,
they won't give it to anyone.
He's the most dominant player in quarterback in the NFL, Tim.
Like I said, Josh Allen.
We've been saying this.
No. Josh Allen can do everything he can do. I'm gonna keep saying that because there's 2 guys, and Jaden Daniels might be the 3rd guy that can do everything that those 2 can do.
Josh is a bad boy. I'm not going to take that away from him. Josh is a bad boy, but he damn sure not Lamar Jackson. So.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
No.
I disagree.
No.
I disagree.
Hell no.
He does everything that Lamar can do.
No, he doesn't.
Absolutely, he does.
I don't know what film you're watching, but
absolutely,
okay.
Just because it doesn't look the same. The product.
They're not even the same type of athlete.
And by the way, one of them has been to an AFC title game.
2 of them actually.
Was Lamar
was
an
AFC title game? He was last year.
That was an AFC title game last year. Okay, I'm wrong on that. Anyway, Josh Allen, just as good as Lamar.
No, he's not.
I'll hold up on saying better because I don't want the world to just light up on fire. But I'll say
Light that thing up, man.
they're comparable.
Lamar is one of one, bro. He is the greatest dual
not.
threat quarterback. Yes, he is, Tim.
Josh can do everything that he can do.
No, he
Everything.
can't. No, he
Everything.
can't. No,
There's
he can't.
nothing Lamar can do that Josh can't do.
Okay.
There might be things Josh can do that Lamar can't do, though.
Okay.
I saw Josh Allen make a throw on Sunday that nobody else could make but him.
Okay, man.
I see that once
man.
a week.
Okay.
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 Okay,
Hey,
man.
what do you all think? What do the QB huddlers think? Who's better? or are they the same? Are they comparable? Because Brandon says it's not close. I disagree.
It's not close.
It's very close.
It's not close.
Okay,
but
we got to
continue.
move on. We can talk about this all day. Garbage juice. Now, this garbage juice is going to be a little different because it's not just one guy here or there, Brandon. We had whole quarterback rooms. We had whole games of quarterback garbage juice. And I'm going to get into it. The first room is the Panthers room. Andy Dalton and Bryce Young combined for 13 of 18 for 85 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Bryce was 2 for 2 for negative 4 yards. Man, how do you get that room to be any worse? Or how do you get it to be better, I guess? Because it can't get any worse.
You got to build that O-line.
I mean, you're flabbergasted. You don't even have any words to say. It's so bad.
You got to build that O-line. Trenches.
How about Miami Dolphins quarterback room? Huntley and Boyle combined for 15 of 26 for 149, 1 touchdown in the loss to the Colts.
Not prepared.
Okay? Here's a whole game that people actually watched. The Raiders versus the Rams. Gardner Minshew and Matthew Stafford. Brandon, Gardner was 15 for 34 for 154 with 3 interceptions. While Matthew Stafford was 14 of 23, 154 with 1 interception. So you watched an entire football game and neither quarterback threw a touchdown.
Receivers are depleted.
That's why
everybody's hurt. Yeah,
everyone's hurt. Well, we know the Raiders are completely dismantled.
Flame ball right there. Yep.
I'm waiting to see if Crosby gets sent to Detroit. I think that would be a great landing spot for him. How about that? Eagles versus the Giants. This is another terrible game. Jalen Hurts was 10 for 14 for a touchdown. I don't even have his yards in here, but it wasn't much. Daniel Jones was 14 of 21 for 99 yards. No touchdowns, no interceptions. What's going on in New York, man? They
Daniel
can't figure it
Jones
out.
has not thrown a home touchdown pass since 2021.
And he got paid all that money.
Jalen
So
Hurts,
here's another
you
game.
get the W.
This was your game. This was the 49er game.
Trash.
Brock Purdy, 17 of
both in
31, 212, 3 interceptions. And then I got to throw him in here. Patrick Mahomes.
Don't
16
forget,
for
Brock had
27.
2 rushing TDs now.
What's that?
Brock had 2 rushing TDs, though.
Okay, well, I mean, he plays. Okay.
But you don't count those
We're
because he
not
plays
counting that.
quarterback.
Now when you throw 3 interceptions, I'm
That
not
doesn't
giving you
matter.
credit for
That
2
doesn't
rushing
matter.
touchdowns.
You
How about
never
Patrick
give Lamar
Mahomes?
either.
16 for 27, 154, 2 interceptions. He did have the 1 rushing touchdown where he ran over San Francisco DB, which was great.
Dad bod.
He was on angry runs for that this morning. But, I mean, golly, that another just – and we were forced as America to watch that game.
Horrible.
And it was awful.
Pat has got
awful.
6 touchdowns to 8 interceptions this
Oh,
year.
how are they undefeated?
There's
Andy
these
Reid.
1 or 2 plays, Andy Reid obviously, but there's 1 or 2 plays that Patrick Mahomes makes every week, and you're like, shit, that's why he's Pat.
That's the difference, right?
That's why he's Pat. And
Did you
Brock
have a
Purdy,
Brady moment? I'm
no,
sorry.
but we're
You
gonna
still wanna
listen.
talk about
Why don't we talk about CJ Stroud's performance? 10 to
Talk
22
about it.
for 82 yards, no TDs, nothing. What happened, Stroud? This is the second time you're in it. Brock Purdy's been in there a few times. Patrick Mahomes has been in here a few times. So some of these quarterbacks that we feel are really, 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 really good, they're just staying in here. We got to come out of this, man. Quarterback play is atrocious right now.
It really is.
It's atrocious. I mean, you've got people in almost double digits in interceptions, and it's damn near half the league. Brock Purdy, 9 TDs, 7 picks. Kirk Cousins, 10 TDs, 7 picks. Then you go, Aaron Rodgers, 10 TDs, 7 picks. Dak Prescott, 8 TDs, 6 picks. Daniel Jones, 6 TDs, 4 picks. Matthew Stafford, 3 TDs, 4 picks. What? And all these quarterbacks I just named, outside of Brock Purdy, they are paid multi-million-dollar contracts.
Yes.
I've said this in the beginning. We really putting too much on the pedestal of the cap for the quarterbacks who can't prove it.
Yeah, we
right.
know that.
The only one who's really proving their contract is Mr. Lamar, and of course Pat Mahomes, just because he does what he does. He's got some leeway to kind of mess up. We know who he is.
Josh Allen's playing pretty damn great.
Josh Allen living up to the contract. Everybody else, oh Lord.
Trash.
Oh, Lord. I mean, come on, man. This is bad. Bad. Justin Herbert, 6 games, 6 TDs. Oh, my goodness. I mean, I'm just going through the list. Geno Smith, 8 TDs, 6 picks. Lord Jesus. Baker Mayfield, hey, 18 TDs. Baker's running away with these touchdowns right now. The closest to him is Lamar, but his team is about to be depleted.
I'm afraid that the end is near for Baker Mayfield and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They don't have any receivers. Don't know how long Mike Evans is going to be out. And then you lost Godwin last night. The thought is he may not ever play again. And I feel really, really sick inside for Tampa and really feel bad for Baker because it's not going to be on him. And they're going to have a collapse, and you know who they'll blame, but that's not on Baker. He's going to do his best.
He's doing his thing, man. You had a Brady moment this week between the Texans and the Packers. Talk about it.
Yeah, so and I don't like to talk about the Packers.
It's crazy to see the Packer on Brady moment.
I know, right?
For you, speaking
Jordan
about
Love, who has not been playing up to his contract, in the fourth quarter, under 2 minutes to go. The Packers get the ball at their own 30. They're down at the point by 2. And what do? The first pass is incomplete, but then Jordan goes 5 for 8, brings the Packers all the way down to the 26-yard line where a new kicker, Brandon McManus, who just got signed a couple of days prior, comes in, kicks the winning field goal, and then goes and does something a kicker has never done in Lambeau Field and does the Lambeau leap. So it was a crazy environment, crazy day for Brandon McManus. I've never seen a kicker do the Lambeau leap. He couldn't have been happier. And Jordan Love with his first Brady moment of the year, getting the team down there to kick the winning field goal against a team that the Texans that I didn't think they had a chance to beat. So good job, Jordan Love, and good job, Green Bay Packers, getting a big win. We'll give you a clap for that.
Next.
This happened. We got to talk about it. I don't really want to talk about it, but we got to bring it up. Deshaun Watson, his Achilles popped. It looked really bad live. Obviously, heartbreaking. The fans didn't think it was heartbreaking as they chanted, "You deserve this," as he was being carted off the field. Thought that was sickening.
That was a WWE audio that was put out there, but fans were clapping and cheering.
They were. I mean, whether they were doing that or not, they were certainly clapping. They were booing him. They booed him when he came out of the tunnel. They clapped when he got hurt. It was disgusting. And unfortunately, it looks like Deshaun Watson's career pretty much over. Wouldn't you say that after the way he's performed, new allegations, now an Achilles that he's got to? I don't see Deshaun Watson.
It might be over, man. It might be over. He got his $233 million. They still owe him, I think, like $100+ million still, or 70+, something like to that range. But before the injury, he was actually doing really well. 15 to 17,
Yeah.
Things were looking up. And you just hate to see that, regardless of personal issues or your feelings about it. You never want to see anybody get hurt like that, where it takes literally their season away. And there's not much to really say about it. I mean, I was a big fan of Watson growing up. Well, not growing up, excuse me. Well, coming out of Clemson.
Not that young.
Yeah, I'm not that young, but he was one of my favorite quarterbacks, man. It's just unfortunate to see the story. I'm sure it's going to be an ESPN 30 for 30, the downfall of Deshaun Watson. You just don't want to see that from a player that, you thought had such a promising career. Unfortunately, the allegations overshadowed his play, and it took him to a bad hole, man. Hopefully he finds a different passion in life, because I don't think any NFL team is going to take a chance on him. Not with all that baggage.
I don't think so anymore.
I think it's over. And that will go down as the worst trade in all of sports.
Yeah.
It might be.
Well, certainly the worst contract ever. The worst contract ever.
Yeah,
it changed how quarterbacks are paid in the NFL. And then as an owner, you got to, you're out 200 and I think it was 240, was it 230 guaranteed?
You're going to have to eat it, my friend.
Yeah, you got to pay it. They had to put so much in escrow, to pay it. And now this guy's never going to play for you again.
You're going to have to eat it. Yep, absolutely.
All right. Well, let's have a little fun. We did this last week with Robert. We always talk about how situations matter, coaching matters, and that brought us to a new segment that we like to play with called What If, and it's just a kind of a fantasy segment. Last week we went in on a couple different guys. This week we're going to limit it to one guy each. It's What If, and so Brandon, do you have a what if in mind as far as what if so and so played for so and so?
Yeah, I do, and this particular person did play for this coach, but this was years prior, right? What if Michael Vick starts his career with Andy Reid and replaces Donovan McNabb?
So never plays in Atlanta.
Never plays in Atlanta.
Plays with that team in Philly that went to 4 conference championship games.
And you have Michael Vick at the helm.
I think you win a couple Super Bowls.
I think you do. With Andy Reid's tutelage, I think you see the best version. Vick's best statistical year was with Andy Reid in 2010, where he threw for 3,000 yards, 21 TDs to 6 picks, had a passer rating of 100. He rushed for over 676 yards along with 9 touchdowns. That was his best career statistically. As far as efficiency, quarterback rating, his yards were a little bit up, like 3,400 last year, but he played 12 games. The problem with Vick was, obviously, he came into a very heavy scheme in Atlanta, but getting another second chance, as we all know the story, with Andy Reid under the tutelage of Donovan McNabb as well, we start to really see Vick turn a corner and become a premier pocket passer. I think he had those 2 years with LaShawn McCoy, Jeremy Maclin, Deshaun Jackson, a few of these other guys. But, man, if we could have saw his career just start with Andy Reid, and he's the most dynamic player we've ever seen outside of Lamar Jackson come into the NFL.
And Josh Allen. Yeah. Every time you say Lamar, I'm going to say Josh Allen. Until you give him his respect.
You shouldn't, because they're not close, bro. I like Josh, man. I really
they
do.
Look different. Just because one,
he
one
ain't
is
nothing
a little
like Lamar
faster than the
Jackson,
other.
bro. Ain't nobody shaking their boots over Josh Allen. Josh Allen's a beast now. Don't get me wrong.
Josh Allen will run you over.
Josh Allen's a beast, but he is not near the player or quarterback Lamar Jackson is. I'm sorry.
Or quarterback. Oh my goodness. Why? I do love me some Michael Vick. I would have loved to see.
I'm just talking noise, man. Josh Allen's a great player, but
I would have loved to see Michael Vick. Can you imagine Andy Reid having a more athletic Patrick Mahomes before Patrick Mahomes was in existence? You think about that. How good Michael Vick could have been. Would Michael Vick be a first ballot Hall of Famer if he had played for Andy Reid?
Probably.
100%. Because look what he did for Donovan. And Donovan,
you can't tell the NFL story without Michael Vick. You just can't. I don't think you can. I don't think you can tell the story without Michael Vick, and that's how I view the Hall of Fame. Okay. Can you tell the story without this player? Hell no.
I'm not saying he won't get in. I think he should.
No, right. But I'm just saying.
Under Andy Reid, he's in right now.
Man, he'd have 2 Super Bowls, probably 10 Pro Bowls. He's on every Wheaties box. I don't know.
I like that.
What's yours?
My what if is really probably could have been attainable, just wasn't. What if Dan Marino replaces Joe Montana in San Francisco and is Bill Walsh's quarterback? That would have been insane in the West Coast offense. You think about Dan Marino playing in Miami without a running back, threw for 61,361 yards, 420 touchdowns. Joe threw for 40,000 yards, 273 touchdowns. Now, Dan played in more games. He played in 242 games. Joe, he only played 192 games. He obviously had the neck injury and some other situations. But my thoughts is you put Dan Marino with Jerry Rice and some of the weapons that they had, Roger Craig, you put him with that run game. You put him, get a defense behind him like they had in San Francisco all those years. Dwight Clark, these weapons with a Dan Marino, I think you're looking at maybe 6 Super Bowls instead of 4 with the 49ers in the 80s. maybe they're just so dominant. They're just going to Super Bowl every single year with Dan Marino. As a 49er fan, what do you think of Dan Marino being the quarterback of the 49ers instead of Joe Montana?
As much as exciting as it would be to have Dan Marino as the quarterback, I personally do not think that Bill Walsh and Dan Marino would have meshed.
You don't think so?
Bill's a control freak. Marino's a control freak. Right? Marino used to call some of his own plays and stuff, right? He was in a run and shoot.
Don Shula, though? Don Shula
gave him the keys to let him. No, but like to let him do his thing. Like he called majority of his stuff. Right? He was in the shotgun. He was dealing, right? In Bill Walsh's system, he would have had limited passes. We relied a lot on the run game with Roger Craig. Quick in and out of stuff. Would he had some big TD games? Yeah, he probably would have. But I don't think he would have been given the autonomy the way he was in Miami, like San Francisco, man. In that system, that doesn't work. I think they would have clashed, man. That's just my opinion.
I didn't think of that. I didn't think of the coach relationship. I was thinking,
they would have clashed, man.
You have a run game, which you never had in Miami. You had a defense, which you only had 1 or 2 years in Miami. And now you have a chance to have some of the best weapons. I mean, Jerry Rice by himself is better than
John
either
Taylor,
of the Marx brothers or both of them. John Taylor. You're talking better weapons than Dan Marino ever had. Maybe Bill Walsh has to, if you want it to work and you realize who your quarterback is, maybe you have to make some adjustments to the West Coast system.
I know, but I just think, man, just seeing the Lifetime or the documentary on Dan Marino and just seeing the documentary on Bill Walsh, I think those two alpha personalities would not have clashed. Well, they would have clashed. Joe Montana was a little bit more reserved. Steve Young was a little bit more brash, but those two also collided.
Oh, yeah, big time.
But it heads a lot with Bill Walsh because Bill Walsh was a control freak.
Okay. So you don't think it works?
I don't think it works.
It'd
have been fun. It'd have been fun to have it. But if you'd have told me, like, hey, he's going with, I don't know, man.
There were several
Mike
teams
Shanahan
I thought
or
of.
something. Like a Mike Shanahan, like, okay, woo.
There were several teams I thought of at that time where Dan Marino could have gone and been successful.
With Sean Payton? Lord.
The Pittsburgh Steelers was one of them I thought of. Sean Payton, I don't think was coaching yet, or at least not a coordinator yet when Marino. So I had to think of Marino's time, like when he played. If you really want to go to fantasy,
what
then
about Mike Holmgren?
Let me put him with an Andy Reid, or let me put him with
young Andy Reid,
that guy that Eric Coryell in San Diego. They coached Dan Fouts
Don
when
Coryell.
They were running 5 wide. You know what I mean? If you really want to get fantasy, then let's send Dan Marino to the Chargers and get Dan Fouts out of there. But I would have liked to see in the 80s, I would have liked to see Joe Montana out of there. Wasn't a big fan of his anyway. I would like to see Dan Marino take over in San Francisco. I think that would have been something crazy. But as a Cowboys fan, maybe not so great for me. That would have been a lot of losses to the 49ers.
I would have liked to see Marino with Jimmy.
That would have been great. But we got
Jimmy's
Troy.
a player coach. That might have meshed.
It would have.
Like Troy's a little bit more stern, but like
don't forget with Troy.
Let's throw this thing.
You talk about running the ball or throwing the ball. I mean, Troy probably threw 22 to 25 passes a game. Dan Marino was not going to live on 25 passes a game.
Well, that's exactly the realm of Montana and Young. They stay right in that sweet spot. They never really got over 32, 33 passes a game.
Dan was he was fun to watch, boy.
Gunslinger, man. I'm trying to think of an offense. I think Holmgren would have been really good for him.
Houston would have been good for him. The run and shoot would have been a really good place for him.
And Buffalo, that would have been really good.
Buffalo
run and shoot. The K gun.
I had that originally. Let's put him in Buffalo and take Jim Kelly out of there. And you know what? I bet you they win at least 2 of the 4 Super Bowls that they went to.
At least one.
With Dan Marino, because I don't think there's a huge difference between the two, but I think Dan was better.
But Dan can move before the knees. He can move a little bit before his knees. Don't forget
he also tore his Achilles. So did Dan Marino. So,
ouch.
But he came back from that. So we got some good matchups coming up. Actually, let me go back. We have some matchups coming up this week. I had to really fight hard, Brandon, to find some good matchups. And now even the good matchups that I'm looking at don't look as good to me. The Falcons, Bucks, Doesn't look as good to me without two starting receivers for the Buccaneers now. You know, it was a good divisional game, right? The Falcons beat them a couple weeks ago, so you feel like the winner of this game maybe has an advantage to win the division. Right. But now the Buccaneers are depleted. I don't know what they're going to do at receiver. Colts-Texans, though, with Anthony Richardson back, that is a good game. 4-3, 5-2. Texans coming off a big loss. Man, what do you think about the Colts-Texans game? Because I think those two teams still fighting for that division.
Yeah, huge divisional matchup. It's going to be a tight one. It's in Houston. I think Houston runs away with it, especially laying a stinker with the Colts, in Green Bay. I like the Bears versus Commanders. I love that game, but unfortunately Daniels may not be playing.
Yeah, I love that game.
I thought that was a solid matchup there. It's really hard. This is probably one of the more down weeks coming in the NFL. You know, Vikings and Rams on Thursday night. You know, O'Connor goes back to the old Jedi or to the old master and tries to beat him. I think that'll be a good little matchup there. I like the Bengals versus the Eagles. You know, we'll see what happens there in hostile territory. Can the Bengals get to 500? You know, there's not
the best game of the weekend to me is Bills in Seattle, and let me explain why. Seattle, I think,
oh my Lord.
Seattle sees an opportunity with San Francisco on a little bit of a downslide and the Rams to maybe win that division, and so Seattle feels like going into this game, they got to get a big win, right? Big AFC opponent coming in. Conversely, the Bills are looking at what the Ravens are doing and the Chiefs and thinking, we don't want to go to Baltimore. We don't want to go to Kansas City in the playoffs. We need home field advantage, so we need to win every single game that we can. So the Bills going cross-country to Seattle in a game that both teams are figuring this is our opportunity this year. We have to win. So to me, that's a huge game with a lot on the line.
It's going to be a really big game with a lot on the line. You are absolutely correct. But I'll also go back to our game. That game is going to be a dogfight, man.
I think that game's going to be dog water.
That game, I think right now, to watch. I think it's more important for us to win than you. Because we're already 1-4 or 1-3 in the AFC or the NFC. We need that. We need that NFC win. You know what I mean? Because that's for contention rights as far as conference standings, but also divisional standings. So I think it's more pressure on us than it is you.
Well, we need to win because we haven't even seen the Commanders yet or the Eagles yet, and we got.
So you got a clean slate, twice. So it's not really affecting you. It'll affect maybe with some tiebreakers, but I think both teams have got to win their division to be able to go to the playoffs.
Tell you who really needs this win is Dak Prescott. From a mental standpoint, you have never beaten the 49ers. You need to beat the 49ers, Dak Prescott. This is a huge game for him from a mental standpoint. $60 million.
It ain't the week, brother. It ain't the week.
Go beat the 49ers. Go put the team on your back. I know that it's not, he said, I don't have to be Superman. He said that a couple weeks ago. You're the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. You're the highest paid player in the league. You do have to be Superman. That is literally your job. There's guys out there making less that are doing more. So you got to do it this week, Dak. You got to go out there and beat the 49ers. You have to. For your own mental capability, I think. I know he just got engaged. Congratulations. You're building a new mansion. Nice. Life is great for you, Dak. Beat the 49ers, and life will be better. Life will be better. All right. Any other games you want to highlight this week, or is that pretty much going to do it for us?
Go Niners. Let's go.
Let's go Cowboys. I can't wait to see you in a Cowboy jersey. You already got the Dak Prescott look, so we'll put you in a Dak Prescott jersey. It'll be perfect. I can't wait for that. And the best thing is that it's going to go out on the internet and we'll be out there forever. It will never go away. So very excited to see you in a Cowboys jersey.
Don't let me down, banana hand.
The
49ers are favored by 4.5.
Well, you're at home, so you're automatically favored by 3. Like I said, I have no analytical reason to think why the Cowboys will win the game, except that I want them to. So they must. That's going to do it for
third in our standings.
It's not going to do it. What did you say?
I said we're both ranked 3rd in our divisional standings right now. So this is huge.
This is literally the toilet bowl coming up. But
this is huge.
It'll be fun. There is a bet. Reiterate the bet. Loser, Cowboys, 49ers, has to win the other team's jersey. on the podcast next week. So look for Brandon to be in a Dak Prescott jersey. It's going to be outstanding. That's going to do it for this week's QB Huddle Podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Look for all of our social medias at QB Huddle, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We're out everywhere at QB Huddle. The show comes out every Wednesday typically. Get involved. For my special guest, Robert Kent from a week ago, thank you for stepping in for Mr. Noohi as he was on vacation.
You.
For Brandon Noohi, my podcast partner, I'm Tim Smith. Till next week, keep those chains moving, folks.
See you.